6 minutes. That's how long a Chinese EW strike blinded Britain's carrier group in the South China Sea. 2 warships surged in, drones and decoys closed to 500 meters, and J-15s hovered overhead. You're here for what happened inside that blackout window, and how the Royal Navy clawed back vision with Merlin HM2s, Link 16, and disciplined restraint. Stay, and you'll see the exact moves that turned a data blackout into a tactical lesson, what failed, what held, and what saved a $4 trillion trade lifeline from tipping into chaos. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great! Thank you so much. Now, back to the vid. The carrier group goes dark. No radar picture. Hostile hulls closing. Drones inside 500 meters. So how did one helicopter switch off a billion-dollar sensor net? We're in contested water, a UK carrier on a freedom of navigation run with escorts in tight guard.
British aircraft carrier ignores Chinese warnings, and enters South China Sea. Aircraft carrier HMS Queen Elizabeth and her carrier strike group have entered the South China Sea, a region largely claimed by China. China say that its claim to the sea is based both on the Law of the Sea Convention and its so-called 9-dash line. This line extends for 2,000 kilometers from the Chinese mainland, encompassing over half of the sea. The aircraft carrier and her escorts were recently in Singapore before entering the South China Sea. China claims almost all of the 1.3 million square mile South China Sea as its sovereign territory.
PRC surface combatants ride the edge of the lane, issuing radio warnings while holding a shadow track off the beam. Voices stay clipped. Courses hold. The chessboard tightens. But then the air defense picture slips. A Type 054A borne jammer knifes into the band, and the group's artisan feed washes out. Link 16 nodes hiccup as timing goes soft. Consoles drop to intermittent, and watchstanders bounce to voice nets and bridge windows. Bearings become lifelines. Range feels like rumor. Shipboard radars crave clean spectrum. Flood them with wideband noise and throw in deceptive stabs, false Doppler, range pull-off, velocity gates, and the scope either whites out or blooms with ghosts. You can still see dots, but not trust how fast they're moving or from where. On the bridge, range rate certainty dies, and with it the authority to commit steel. Electronic warfare is a scalpel. It denies target quality tracks, so weapons release freezes and flight ops stall. That paralysis opens a kill window without a single launch. Second stretch. You can feel them. Meanwhile, a Chinese pair pushes throttle. Roles split. A heavy combatant leans on sensor murder and ramming posture, while a lighter shield shapes missile queuing and an air defense umbrella. Overhead, J-15s loiter as overwatch, a constant reminder that altitude belongs to whoever owns the link. Unmanned decoys appear low and lazy.
The US, UK and Australia routinely conduct freedom of navigation operations, or FONOPs, to challenge what Washington calls attempts by coastal states to unlawfully restrict access to the seas. However, in an historic decision in 2016, the International Tribunal in The Hague ruled against part of China's claims to the sea. Both the US and UK have angered China previously by carrying out FONOPs in the South China Sea to assert rights to freedom of navigation.
Cheap, disposable, built to wake close-in guns, drain ammo, and red fire control habits. 3 return skim in under the deck line, pressing toward that 500-meter line where instinct begs you to shoot. Command has seconds. Hold fire and risk a breach. Engage and risk a chain reaction. Markets twitch. Allied eyes push what they can across broken pipes. In the 6-minute blackout, the core weakness shows sensor dependence. The group pivots to passive ESM, optics, and strict ROE to buy time and deny the trap. The fix will need altitude, network, and deception, Merlin HM2, clean Link 16, and autonomous decoys ready to rebuild site without firing. If your eyes are gone, you borrow someone else's. So whose sensors carried the fight while the carrier's main set staggered? The call goes up: launch a Merlin HM2. Give it altitude, give it a clean lane, and task it for passive first, active only in short bursts. At the same time, scrub the Link 16 routes, lean on offboard P8A inputs, and clamp emissions so the jammer can't ride your own power back at you. Every emission is a beacon. Light up too much and you hand them a bullseye. Stay dark and you fly blind. The clock keeps bleeding seconds. Merlin takes height and trades it for reach. Its ESM ears sift the haze, tagging bearings that align into a thread of truth, while radar pulses come in short and cold, enough to confirm without gifting a lock. It marks a noisy sector where the EW Hello hunts and sketches the inbound lanes the drones prefer: low, masked, steady. Link discipline tightens. Time slots get reallocated, net time gets reset, gateways get paired to the minimum. Off-board surveillance pushes sanitized tracks, just what matters, no clutter, so the plot firms up into a partial, trusted picture. It's not pretty, but it holds. Escorts spit out autonomous decoys, some on the skin of the sea, some slow and high. They tug the jammer's gaze and force hostile ships to show fire control rhythm, how they search, when they queue, who they protect. A shell game that buys minutes and exposes habits. At knife range, glass and IR rule. Bridge teams use warning bursts and hard turns to shape the UAS approach, keeping the guns cold and the lawyers calm. The line holds without a shoot. Overhead, J-15s loiter, but the breaks in their continuity tell a story: the window is closing. The Chinese pair eases throttle as surprise fades and the net recovers. The layered fix lands. Merlin altitude, disciplined links, and measured decoys rebuild sight and deterrence without crossing into a kinetic spiral. The lesson stays sharp: sensor denial is the first shot, and the side that trains its networks for blackout will see first when the lights go out. The most dangerous weapon wasn't a missile. It was 6 minutes of silence. Electronic warfare turned a carrier group into steel with no eyes until discipline and network sensors flipped the board back. What would you prioritize first: hard kill on the jammer, more off-board sensors, or tougher EMCON? Comment your choice below. If you want to understand the tactical mindset that wins these battles, subscribe now. The next clash may run longer than 6 minutes. Train for the blackout, or lose the fight before the first shot. This is the story of fleets that learn, adapt, and survive when the spectrum goes hostile.